Okay, so what we want to look at here is how a blog actually works. And what you're looking at is Beezodog's place. The top row here contains buttons that are for what we would call fixed pages. And these are ones that we set up within the admin section. If we were to click on one, for instance, like the About Us page, what we'd see is an explanation of what the site is about. Let's go back to home and let's take a further gander around the site. If you wanted to do your own search of the site, you could enter something here in the search area. Um, Along this row are what we call the category buttons. We can create categories for every article that gets added to this blog, and when we do, we have, as you can see, about 6 or 7, I guess actually 8 main categories with some subcategories. So under cycling, we've got ride reports, tandems, and upcoming rides. Now, just below that is what we call the featured article area. And right now we've got room for 5 featured articles. If we were to click on one of these, let's say taking your newsletter online. So we'll click there, and you can see it kind of scrolls up, and then we see an image, and we also see some text. And if you click either the image or the text or even the read more, we go to the article. And once you get there, there are a number of things you can do. You could print this article if you wished, and you'd get something like this, which you could then send to your printer. Or, if we go back, you could just simply read the article. Um, and then down at the bottom, you'll see where there's a place for you to actually enter a comment if you so choose. And you have to, in my case, I'm logged on as myself. My comment would go here, and then I would click this submit button after having typed in the information that I see in this CAPTCHA screen area. And then that's there just to make sure that the information that's being entered is being done by a human and not a robot. So we also see that the person who entered the article has a thumbnail description of who they are. We can see that they've filed this under cycling and under featured, and that they have a tag associated with this particular article called online newsletters. And all those things you get to decide when you are the person creating the article. And then up here, we can see that there's a slideshow, or in this case, a gallery that's been added. So if I click here, I can see some of the graphics. There's a title for the graphic, and I can see it, up close and personal, and I can close it. Or I could click on one of these and use one of the next and previous arrows to work my way through them. There's also the option of asking to see it as a slideshow, but you get the idea. So um, that's what it's all about. Note here too, by the way, that this particular article has my email address in it, and the software is smart enough to know to pick up that email and convert it to something that would allow a person to click on it and reach me through their email program. Okay, now we'll go back to the home page one more time, because here we're going to look at some of the other features. Down the left-hand side are all of the RSS feeds that we are currently using. And what we're doing here is just querying each of these sites and saying, give me the top 3 articles that you currently have on your site and let me have a link to it. And that is created automatically. And then over on the right-hand side, we've got some interesting things. For instance, you could subscribe to this web site by putting your email address here, hitting subscribe, and there's a couple screens that follow, and eventually it sends you an email to have you click on a link in it to confirm that you are in fact subscribing, and then that process gets put in place. You could log into the admin area here. There are a number of things you can do under this piece that are restricted to those who have usernames and passwords. And then under tags, we can find articles about just about anything that's out here. For instance, if I wanted to see all the articles on bicycle repairs, if I click this link, it goes out and brings out all the articles, and it turns out there's three of them. So those are articles that the author deemed appropriately labeled as being related to bicycle repairs, and that's why they're there. And then there's the weather that is for a particular area. You can bring up all of the archives by month. So there's 16 saved for August and 17 for September, and on and on. And then a little further down, we see categories. Now, these are the categories we talked about before. And you can see the categories and the subcategories and decide to query those articles by clicking on any of these links. And then there's some other resource materials. There's advocacy in cycling. We've got links to various sites that promote advocacy, some general sites on bicycling, a few more sites that really don't pertain to cycling as such, but I include them because I need them. And then I have a link to family and friends type sites, and so this one's to my wife's family site. And then there are some news links and links to bicycle vendors. So that's what the site looks like. Every one of the articles that you enter can initially start off up here, and as they age out, they roll down to this area. So this is the recent article area, and these were all listed in reverse chronological order. So that's what the site looks like. Once they roll off of this page, the way you retrieve them is through these searches, through either tags or categories or buttons.